The endowment effect. Why you overvalue what you already own. Have you ever tried to sell something you own, a used phone, a car, or even a piece of furniture, and been surprised that no one else seemed willing to pay what you thought it was worth? You probably thought, but it's in perfect condition. I took care of it. This reaction isn't just sentimentality. It's a well-studied psychological bias called the endowment effect. The tendency to value things more highly simply because we own them. In this article, we'll explore why this happens, how it affects your decisions, and how to overcome it. Once you see how the endowment effect operates in your life, you'll never look at your possessions, or your choices, the same way again. What is the endowment effect? The endowment effect refers to the psychological phenomenon where people assign more value to things merely because they own them. This concept was first popularized by behavioral economists Daniel Kahneman, Jack Netsch, and Richard Thaler in the 1990s. In their famous experiment, participants were randomly given a mug or a pen. Those who received the mug valued it significantly higher than those who had the chance to buy it. In short, ownership inflated perceived value. This effect has been consistently replicated across a variety of settings. Why does it happen? So, why do we do this? There are several psychological explanations. Loss aversion. People hate losing more than they like gaining. Giving up an owned item feels like a loss, which is psychologically painful. Emotional attachment. Ownership creates a sense of identity or emotional tie. The object becomes mine, which makes it feel special or more valuable. Status quo bias. Once something is ours, we tend to prefer things to stay the same. Change feels risky even if it might be beneficial. Effort justification. If we put effort or money into acquiring something, we often feel it's more valuable, simply to justify that investment. Real-life examples of the endowment effect. Selling used items. Sellers often list items at prices far above what buyers are willing to pay. Collectibles and memorabilia. People overvalue things like baseball cards, books, or souvenirs because they have history attached. Subscription services. Ever kept a streaming or software subscription longer than you needed it? That's the endowment effect at work. Investments. Investors hold on to losing stocks, not wanting to sell at a loss because they own them. Relationships. People stay in unhealthy relationships longer than they should simply because of time and emotional investment. How it affects your decisions. The endowment effect can impact a wide range of choices. Financial. Overpricing your home or refusing to sell assets that have lost value. Career. Sticking with a job you hate because you've been there for years. Shopping. Buying something and then rationalizing its value afterward to avoid buyer's remorse. Time management. Refusing to cancel a project or commitment even when it's clearly not worth continuing. In all these cases, ownership skews rational thinking. We prioritize keeping what's ours, even when logic says otherwise. How to spot the endowment effect in your life. Ask yourself, do I value this just because it's mine? Would I pay the same amount to buy this now? Am I afraid of losing something more than I'm excited to gain something better? Am I holding on to this out of habit or because it still has value? Being honest with your answers can shine a light on how much the endowment effect is influencing your thinking. Strategies to overcome the endowment effect. Take a buyer's perspective. Imagine you didn't own the item. Would you still want it? Would you pay the asking price? Get a second opinion. Ask someone who is not emotionally involved to assess the value. Sleep on it. Give yourself time before making a decision, especially when emotions are high. Set objective criteria. Use data, not feelings, to guide decisions, whether it's selling a car or quitting a job. Limit exposure. The more familiar something becomes, the more you feel attached. Step away to gain perspective. When the endowment effect is actually useful. While often irrational, the endowment effect isn't always bad. In some cases it can encourage care. You're more likely to take care of things you value. Build loyalty. It strengthens commitment to your team, company, or home. Promote gratitude. You might appreciate what you have more deeply. The key is knowing when it's helping you and when it's clouding your judgment. The endowment effect in the digital age. Today, marketers and tech companies use the endowment effect against you. Free trials. You start to feel ownership over a service, making you more likely to pay for it. Customization tools. Letting you design a product, like a pair of sneakers, makes you value it more. Virtual goods. Digital avatars, game items, and NFTs create a false sense of ownership and inflated value. Understanding this can help you resist manipulation and make more conscious consumer choices. Final thoughts. You are not your stuff. The endowment effect is a powerful, invisible force that shapes your decisions daily. But just because something is psychologically natural doesn't mean it's wise. By recognizing this bias and learning how to step back from emotional attachment, you free yourself to make smarter, clearer decisions. Whether you're selling your car, changing jobs, or letting go of a failed project, remember, ownership does not equal value. You are not your possessions. You are not your past choices. And the ability to walk away is often a sign of strength, not weakness. So next time you find yourself clinging to something just because it's yours, take a breath and ask, is it really worth it? Chances are, the freedom you gain by letting go is far more valuable than the object you were afraid to lose.